Hey everybody, Bob Paskins here. Let's get ready for another 2-minute motivational drill. This week we're going to talk about breaking through your mental limits. Because the truth is, when you think of limits, limits are a human term. It is you who put the limits into place in the first place. Or another way of saying it is, only you can create your own mental limits. Our goal is to be able to push through that, and we're going to talk about that throughout this week. But before we really jump into this, I want to start with a story which I really think illustrates this point. And being a runner, this really hits close to home. So in 1940, the world record holder for the mile was 4 minutes and 1 second. And people tried and tried and tried to see if they could break and go under a 4-minute mile. Studies were even shown or done by people saying that it was physically impossible for a human being to run under 4 minutes. But sure enough, people tried, and they tried, and they tried, and the years went on and on and on and on and on. And no one could get under 4 minutes and 1 second, much less under 4 minutes for the mile. Well, sure enough, in 1954, there was a British man named Roger Bannister, and he thought he could do it. He was studying medicine so he could understand how the mind worked. And he thought it was not a physical barrier, but it was a mental barrier that was causing people from not running under the 4-minute mile. So sure enough, he trained and he circled a date in May that he was going to go out and that was going to be his moment to be able to break the 4-minute mile. Well, sure enough, anticipation soared. There were 3,000 people waiting to see if Roger Bannister could do it. And boom, he went off and he raced and he went around the track once, twice, 3 times. He had to go around one more time. And the anticipation of the crowd was there because even though the race was over, the question was, would Roger Bannister be able to break that 4-minute mile? Well, sure enough, he won the race. And as he won the race, everyone just kind of paused and waited for the announcer to go over the loudspeaker to tell about the results of the race. And sure enough, the announcer said, in the mile, first place, Roger Bannister of Great Britain with a new world record and a time of 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds. Now, as the story goes, Roger Bannister never really heard what the time was because as soon as the announcer said 3 minutes, there was such a roar and ovation from the crowd that he could not hear what his official time was. Sure enough, of course, it was reported to him that he, yes, had broke the 4-minute barrier at 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds. Now, that is a great story, but to me, the story doesn't end there. Because what happened 46 days later was an Australian by the name of John Landry. Sure enough, he ran the mile and he beat 3 minutes and 59 seconds. So Roger Bannister's record, which it took 14 years to get, only lasted for 46 days. Sure enough, in August, 2 other people broke that mark. And later that year, John Landry even beat that mark by a full second, running the mile in 3 minutes, 58.4 seconds. So the point of the story is here, it was humans who were putting the limits on the mile. Physically, it could be done, but mentally, there was a block there. And it's funny, once Roger Bannister was able to break through that block, others were able to fall behind. Sure enough, to this day, high schoolers routinely run a mile under 4 minutes. And the world record holder is now 3 minutes and 43 seconds. So here's the drill, and here's my encouragement for you. Remember, it's you who create your own mental blocks, because only you can create your own limits. My encouragement for you, my goal for you, is to weed out what those mental limits are. Eliminate them, realizing that with the mind, things are possible to achieve, that you should go out and you should look to break those mental limits so you can achieve great things. This is Bob Paskins with the 2-minute motivational drill, encouraging you to engage in life, to let your light shine, and to be a champ. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.